Chapter 12. The Bride.
I'm worried about the princess. She seems so distressed.
Sith says as he rides on Nanaki's back. Nanaki had been pacing around the castle in hopes of locating an entrance. However, each entrance is locked or impossible for the two to reach.
As am I.
We should have gone inside with her. We should have put our foot down.
Maybe we can dig a hole to get inside.
Red, it would take you forever to dig.
Nanaki huffed, shaking his fur to knock the cat off his back.
Ow!
You will be digging as well.
Aye, these little paws are not meant for digging.
Nanaki let out a warning growl, and the two continued to argue. Yet, unknown to them, Yazoo and Laz were watching them from above. Their youngest brother had wanted these pests eliminated. Yazoo did not know why it mattered, while Laz was thrilled to be doing something other than lounging around or poking fun of Cloud's servants. The two brothers looked at one another. Yazoo nodded his head, allowing his brother the first strike. Laz grinned. He jumped off the top of the castle and soared down towards the two. He pulled back his left hand, armed with a large mechanical fist with two electric prongs on the end. As Laz descended upon them, Nanaki reacted first. The red beast's head snapped to see Laz. Sith was continuing his complaining, not at all aware.
Move!
His large paw smacked the smaller cat away before he leapt away. Laz crashed down to the ground, his fist causing a crater in the ground.
Ah!
Sith wailed as he rolled across the ground. Nanaki rounded on the man. Laz grinned. For a moment, nothing happened, and then the two ran toward one another. Nanaki attempted to attack the jugular. Laz was quick. He grabbed the beast by the jaws and threw him in a tree. The beast shook off the attack and rushed towards him again. Laz grinned wickedly as he lifted his gun, sparks ejecting from the edge. When Nanaki went to attack him again, his body met with Laz's weapon. The second it did, a jolt of electricity went through his body, and he was sent sailing to the ground. Sith wailed and began scrambling to get away. However, the first step he took only led him to crash directly into something. Sith looked up and then squealed as he fell back on his bottom. Standing before him, Yazoo tilted his head as he blocked the cat's getaway. Sith did not stay long at his spot. He quickly ran away from the man. Yazoo did not even seem concerned. He simply lifted his gun, aimed, and fired.
Cloud, please, wake up!
The princess buried her face into his chest, allowing her tears to soak his shirt. The wolf prince never stirs from his sleep, oblivious to the princess weeping over him. The princess's right hand clenches his navy blue shirt tightly as she sobs. The princess finds herself so exhausted from her attempts to awaken her prince that she drifts into a sleep. Her body lies next to his, pressed firmly against his. Cloud never moves a muscle. He simply sleeps, his breathing and heartbeat steady. When she awoke, the sun began to peek over the horizon. The princess repeatedly scolded herself for falling asleep. Her attempt to awaken her beloved prince once again failed. The door to the room clicked open. Aerith lifted her tear-stained face to the door to see Kadaj.
Good morning.
Aerith turned away, holding tighter to her prince. She began frantically calling out his name while simultaneously shaking him.
Cloud! Cloud!
Regardless, her attempt was futile. Kadaj pulls her away from the prince, but she continues to cry, desperately trying to return to her prince. Annoyed, Kadaj picks up the thrashing princess by the waist and carries her from the room. Once in the hallway, he drops her carelessly to the floor. Aerith looked up at him, watching him lock the room door. He dragged her back to her room, flinging her inside. When Aerith caught herself from falling, she spun around to see Kadaj directly behind her.
We made a bargain, princess.
He turned to face her. At the same time, he grabbed her by the chin.
You know what our wager means.
Kadaj pulls an object from his pocket. He holds it at eye level so the princess can clearly see it. Aerith, however, averts her eyes. Pressed between his thumb and forefinger rested an ebony ring with a single red jewel within the center. Aerith knew exactly what the ring was. It was his version of an engagement ring. He held up the horrible engagement ring, expecting her to take it, but the princess merely turned her head away.
I still have one more night.
Kadaj's fingers skimmed over her back, causing her to shiver unpleasantly. Before she could move away, he grabbed her by her arm and pulled her back against his body. The princess stiffened from the involuntary feel. Kadaj breathed in the scent of flowers in her hair, while his free hand touched the side of her body, resting on her hip. Aerith wanted to vomit. She could sense the lust radiating from his body, and she wanted no part of it. The very thought of sharing a bed with this despicable man made her feel filthy. She attempted to move away, but Kadaj enjoyed the closeness, her soft skin, her intoxicating scent, and the idea of taking her as his bride.
Don't you think if you were Cloud's true love you would awaken the moment you first reunited with him? Your attempts are futile, princess. By the next morning you will be mine.
Aerith freed herself from his grip. She glared at him, clutching her arms around her body, feeling violated by his touch.
I still have one more night. He will awaken.
Keep telling yourself that, princess, and maybe you'll actually believe it.
He headed for the door, but before he left, he looked over his shoulder at her.
Your wedding gown will be waiting for you when you awaken. You will wear it tonight, because the moment the night ends, we will be married.
Then he was gone. Aerith's legs collapsed on her, and she fell to the ground sobbing. The silver-haired man's words cut her deep. The entire situation looked grim. If it were true, perhaps Cloud did not love her anymore, and everything is a waste. Needing encouragement, the princess went to the window. Pushing it open, she peered outside, wondering if Kate, Sith, and Nanaki were waiting for her. When she could not spot them, she called out their names.
Residing. Kasif.
She waited for a minute. There was no response. Aerith looked down sadly. Where were her friends? Had they abandoned her now? Princess Aerith was too upset to be awake any longer. After getting into her bed, she curled up, pulling the covers over her head. She closed her eyes, wanting to sleep, and praying silently that her endeavors were not a waste. Nanaki awoke in darkness. He felt disoriented for a moment before he shook it off. He stood, waiting for his eyes to adjust to the darkness. Once they did, he found Kate Sith next to him, softly snoring. He nudged the cat hard, waking him. Kate Sith snorted.
Oh, my back hurts.
Get up and help search for a way out of here. The princess is in great danger.
Aye. Where are we anyway?
The dungeon, I suppose.
The two searched along the walls of the dungeon. Kate Sith brushed his hand along the wall until he felt the smooth wall become suddenly colder than before.
Ooh, I think I found a door.
Nanaki rushed over. He pushed up against the door. The thick metal door did not budge. He tried to use all his strength to knock it down, but it did not work. The red beast growled and clawed at it viciously. Kate Sith stood away from him, not daring to get in his way. After minutes, Nanaki stopped, finding his efforts futile. He let out a growl and pawed against the ground. The floor was just as hard as the walls. There would be no easy escape.
Well, what do we do?
I'm trying to think.
Hey, don't get upset with me!
After a moment, Kateseth took a deep breath before he yelled out,
Help!
He repeated his cries until Nanaki pawed him on the back of his head.
No one is gonna hear you.
Then you suggest something else. Otherwise, help!
Nanaki growled and pawed the cat again. Kateseth clenched his tiny fist and brought up his fist towards the cat threateningly. The two growled at one another until a voice called out to them.
Hello? Is someone in there?
The two cats' heads snapped to the door. To Nanaki, the voice was familiar.
Yes, please let us out!
Who are you?
We are friends of Princess Aerith.
Princess Aerith? Is she well?
Marlene, is that you?
Yes. Who are you?
It is I, Red 13.
How can you speak?
Now is not the time. You must listen to me, little one. Princess Aerith is here in the palace. She is in grave danger. You must find a way to set us free.
The key to the door is kept with one of the lord of the castle.
Is one of Prince Cloud's other servants here?
From behind the door, Marlene was shaking her head.
No. I'm the only one who comes down here. I am not chained up like the others. I just serve the food and clean the bedchambers.
Marlene, listen carefully. Where is Prince Cloud?
Lord Sephiroth, keep him locked away from us.
Listen, lass. Princess Aerith is here, and she has made a deal with one of the sons of Genova. She will marry the one called Kadaj if she's unable to awaken Prince Cloud from his sleep.
Does Prince Cloud love the princess?
I'm sure he does love her. When I clean the tables, they mock Prince Cloud for his devotion to her.
Nanaki and Kateseth looked at one another.
I suspect foul play. The princess is never meant to win the wager. Kadaj would make sure of it.
We have to warn the princess and the prince.
Marlene, listen to me. You must find a way to warn the prince. Both their lives are at stake.
From behind the door, the little girl looked fearful. She looked down at the floor and then back up.
What can I do?
Aerith awoke with her head pounding, her face stained with tears. Inside, she felt alone. Her friends were nowhere to be found, and the man she loves with all her heart does not even know she is here for him. After rubbing her eyes, she finally noticed the wedding gown that Kadaj promised would be waiting for her. The dress was ivory with a high waistline, while the rest of the dress flowed down to the floor. The neckline, however, was very open, and Aerith knew very well why Kadaj would choose such a dress for her to wear. Aerith shuddered at the thought of his touch on her. Realizing sunset would be upon her soon, Aerith bathed and then ate the food that waited for her. She hesitated putting on the wedding gown, yet she had no choice and did not want to lose a second of time arguing with Kadaj about their agreement. She changed into it. The material felt incredibly soft to her skin and fell off her curves. Aerith thought the gown was more of a nightdress rather than a wedding one. When she finished placing on the shoes, the door to the room unlocked and Kadaj entered. He seemed quite pleased with Aerith wearing the dress. He stared at her, making the princess uncomfortable. He approached her like a cat, quick and quiet. When his hands found her bare shoulder, she jumped.
You're tense, princess. Where is your confidence now?
Aerith could not find any words to say. She was too busy with Kadaj's hand touching the thick braid in her hair. She could feel him undoing her ribbon, making her hair fall down in thick curls along her back. His hand then brushed along her shoulder and she stiffened.
You're beautiful.
He whispered with nothing but lust in his voice. Aerith pushed his hand from her before turning around and glaring at him.
take me to Cloud.
As you wish, Princess.
Kadaj escorted the princess to the sleeping prince. Once in the room, Kadaj did not refrain to remind her of the bargain before leaving. When the door shut and locked, Aerith moved toward Cloud and gently touched his face. His skin was so warm, his face undisturbed by her touch.
Cloud, I'm sorry for what I have done. Please, please, wake up!
Outside the door, Kadaj made his way to the throne room. His brothers were already enjoying food and drink that the servants had brought for them. Sephiroth spotted him first. An amused smirk appeared on the eldest brother's face. It was matched by the youngest arrogant smile.
Well, dear brother, it looks as though your plan is going accordingly. I take it your bride is well prepared for her wedding.
It will be a swift wedding, brother. I've waited 3 days too long for this troublesome princess.
Sephiroth picked up a chalice from the small table next to his throne, where his food sat. He glanced down at the cold red liquid, swirling it.
Regardless, it is an amusing trick. She is as empty-headed as the prince to believe we would be honest in our wages. Now I have the white materia in my possession, and you will have your bride.
Kadaj opened the palm of his hand, and a yellow-colored materia rested within it.
How useful this simple materia was to me. I should thank the prince for digging it up.
He threw the materia carelessly onto the table that Laz and Yazoo were eating. The middle brothers smirked to one another. Kadaj turned away, ready to leave, when Sephiroth called out to him.
Leaving already?
I need to find a way to pass the time. It is a long time until dawn.
For Aerith, however, dawn was approaching all too quickly for her. Her heart broke at each passing second. Unable to awaken her sleeping prince, she sobbed over his chest, holding his hands in hers. However, minutes before the sun would rise, Aerith felt her heart weigh heavily within her. She clutched onto him tighter.
Cloud.
Still sobbing over your prince. Your time is up, princess. You belong to me now.
There is still time.
Sunrise is in a few minutes, my dear. You really think you will awaken when you spent 3 nights with him and failed each time?
Kadaj grabbed her by her wrist and tugged the princess toward him. Aerith cried out for him to let go. Kadaj gripped her tightly.
Our wedding awaits, princess.
No! I love Cloud! I would never love you!
And who said I would ever love you?
Aerith gasped and pulled away from Kadaj, but he only caught her again, forcing her from the prince. As Kadaj began to drag her to the floor, he found Aerith's resistance unyielding. He turned around, ready to remind her of their bargain, but the moment he did, his eyes widened. Aerith was not fighting Kadaj. She was too busy staring at Cloud's hand, held onto her own, refusing to let go. The sleeping prince's face stirred, eyebrows furrowing. His lips parted slightly, and he called out for the princess.
Aerith. It's impossible.
Losing his grip on the princess, Cloud tilted his head, forcing his eyes open.
Nothing is impossible, Kadaj. Surprised? See me awake?
Aerith felt her heart leap. She did it, somehow. Some way her pleas reached Cloud, and he awoke. He was free. His servants were free. They could leave the castle together. Aerith moved toward Cloud. However, Kadaj was there, his arms circling around her waist and dragging her to his side.
Let me go! I want a ranger! You promised to let us go!
Wager?
Trying his hardest to move his sluggish body, as if his body was being dragged down by invisible weights.
You're correct, Princess. You did win. Prince Cloud and his servants are free to go. However, remember what you agreed to, Princess. The price to see him was your hand in marriage. Win or lose, you belong to me.